Boris Johnson confronted over claim no country has working coronavirus app, after 12 meters downloads in Germany.
Here's a summary of the article.
Boris Johnson has been confronted over his claim that no country has a working contact tracing app, after 12 meters downloads were made in Germany. Keir Starmer ridiculed the Prime Minister for denying the UK had been left in the slow lane, after his plans for an app were abandoned, telling him Berlin's was in operation on 15 June. Mr. Johnson provoked astonishment on Tuesday when he claimed no other country had stolen a march with the technology. The Prime Minister is under pressure after the embarrassment of ditching plans for a custom-made NHS app, after £12 million was spent on it, because of technical problems. Put on the spot, Mr. Johnson claimed the app had only ever been imagined as the icing on the cake, although Health Secretary Matt Hancock repeatedly argued it was essential to preventing infection spikes. And Martin Hibbard, a professor at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, also criticised Mr. Johnson, saying, "There are a number of countries with a working contact tracing app, for example Singapore's Trace Together, which has been working since March and has been downloaded by nearly half the population." But Mr. Johnson replied, "The 33,000 cases in the country is, of course, an estimate."
This post received a score of 54,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
He could just try to pay the licensing fees and launch it in the UK as well. I think SAP would be happy to export this app.
Here's the code.
Then it's even easier for the UK.
Convinced our government doesn't want the app from Germany because they do not want to be seen as relying on a European nation due to Brexit.
And don't forget they threw Dominic Cummings' mate $12 million for the failed app. Corrupt and incompetent wankers, I loathe these people.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to the £115 million emergency PPE order with no oversight that is to be delivered next year by a company that has nothing to do with PPE. But I'm sure I'm just being suspicious and untrusting. Edit, it's only £108 million. Here's the government getting sued about this contact. The company was called Chris Websites Limited. Here's a great talk by a political commentator.
Meanwhile, the company I work for assembles a crack team from all the right disciplines, fails to win contracts because the new company itself has never done that sort of project before. Yet they give out contracts to ferry companies without ferries.
Christ, did you not go to Eton? Is your CEO not a grandchild of Churchill? Why bother?
Boris Johnson fired Churchill's grandson for disagreeing about Brexit. He's that much of a bellend.
Well, he made up for it by giving a contract to a company whose CEO is one of Churchill's other grandsons.
When the owner of the phone tests positive, the app sends a message to all contacts it had. Even the CCC, a fierce defender of data security, had nothing to criticize about the app's security. The source code is open source, the information decentralized, and the contacts are saved with keys. Every app looks whether it was in contact with this key. Edit 2, you do not provide your app key automatically.
They even had an AMA for those who want to know the thread.
People still won't believe it. When you tell them the source code is on GitHub, they will tell you that they don't know how to interpret the code. I'm not able to do that too. But they forget that there are thousands of people who can do that and who will do that. It's not just an app, it's the Corona app. People are curious. And then they have FB Messenger, WhatsApp and Google services all running with location permission, but it's definitely the tested and open-sourced Corona app that's invading their privacy.
I have begun to criticize my friends and family who have not installed the app. And what seems to work is just ask them why not. You don't get tracked and all that it'll cost you will be 5% of your phone's battery for 24 hours. Mercer.de and Build.de tested that. The worst thing that can happen is the app shows you've been around someone with corona and you get tested and you are negative. Since all corona tests have to be paid by your insurance, it won't even cost you a cent. 3 friends and 2 family members counting.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.